Greetings, everyone. My name is Raven Moore, and today we're going to be taking a look at my classmate's student film, One Night in the Woods. Now, One Night in the Woods is a classic supernatural horror film starring two boys searching for their lost friend in the forest. Very straightforward. They investigate and find that the truth behind their friend's disappearance is more disturbing than they could have ever possibly dreamed of. So the first thing that I noticed immediately out of this film is the visuals and the audio. The audio had me fully immersed right before I even was introduced into any characters or any setting, and was very well chosen, along with the logo and the time stills that allowed for those time transitions throughout the film. They were very well designed and added to the overall tone and the mood of the student film. The story is very straightforward and to the point, and the title does a good job of explaining the premise of the film without being too wordy or vague. The talent also seemed very invested in the film's story, and their character portrayals seemed natural and very well performed. The pacing allowed for the story to flow very naturally, starting relatively slow and allowing us to become invested in the main characters, then allowed for the pace to build as the story grew more tense. This created a very fun and easy to follow viewing both times that I watched this film. Now, as far as the effects for visual and audio, along with the very compelling music, the ethereal voices in the woods, the chosen makeup for the monster, and the scene at the end with the vine reaching out and wrapping around the kid's ankle was a very nice touch and was also very well executed. Out of everything in this, the soundtrack was my favorite. The ambient synth that was playing when the boys were beginning to enter and wander through the woods while they were talking about their own choice of horror films while listening to very classic ambient synth was very aesthetic, and it was an excellent choice in execution. It reminded me of very similar works to the likes of like John Carpenter and even some earlier episodes of Stranger Things. Both some of my personal favorite horror properties out there. Now, as far as any suggestions for improvement, places where you could grow, I think the scene where the root or vine reaches out for Dylan's ankle has a lot of potential to be very scary and be a lot more impactful for the story that you're going for. So my first suggestion would be the scene for the root reaching out with his ankle. If you could somehow get a shot of, instead of the branch slowly creeping, right, and then slowly creeping around his ankle, and then having the other child go and try to rip it off, if you had it slowly creeping and then all of a sudden cut to this shot where it jumps out and reaches towards the ankle, would give this really fun jump scare kind of effect for the viewers to watch. A few scenes before that, when Dylan is by himself and looking through the woods with his flashlight, he's just standing there and just kind of analyzing the area around him. You could have the missing kid in the makeup hidden somewhere in the foliage, where he is just barely in view, and have Dylan continue his search as if he didn't even see the face in the trees. But us in the audience did see the face in the trees. That would allow you to experiment with some really cool kind of subliminal horror techniques that are really popular in more modern horror films, such as A24's Hereditary and Nosferatu. All in all, this film has the potential to be something truly fun and exciting to watch. I can see the director's passion for classic horror films, and it clearly shows within his work, and I cannot wait to see the finished product. Thank you so much for watching.